a theme that has always motivated me in parenting and homeschooling is killing appetites and creating appetites. And then and none of us have one homeschooling philosophy, right? We've drawn from different places. But the Charlotte Mason idea of a living book, reading about that in that book, and I mean, my oldest was already 4, but you have a lot of books by that point.
Right.
And I can remember feeling so frustrated. I'd be nursing somebody, and then there'd be a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they would bring me books. I wouldn't be in control of bringing the books. And so they hand you a book, and you're like, oh. And they hand you a book, and you're like, oh. I don't like those pictures.
Don't read that book.
And then you look at one, and you're like, okay, And there's the book you really want to read under there. And then that book gave me the permission and the definition of like, what is a living, what is a great, what's a worthy book. And I mean, I couldn't go through my books fast enough. And since then, I feel nothing. I mean, I'm like, and anytime a kid brings me a book now, I'm like,
But they gravitate toward those. I mean, we used to have, my girls were voracious readers and still are. Like it's intimidating to try to keep them with, especially in the ages where their reading level really was higher than their maturity level. And so doesn't mean should. That's sort of always been one of the sayings I've gone back to. And so trying to get them enough to read to keep them not just busy, but they loved to read. And so I wanted to have plenty for them to do. So I would compromise sometimes and let them get, a book like, I can't think of what it would have been at this point, but some series that was popular at the time that was, a fairly benign content or whatever, but it just was, but I always used to call it cotton candy. And I was like, so there's some books that are like dessert, and you can't survive on sugary, sweet things. They taste really good when you're doing it, and it's okay to have it in moderation, but like we feast on these, and that has never really been a struggle for them, growing up and seeing the tastes literally that they have for literature is.
But I've seen with my neighbors who, or people that I know that, either somebody struggled with reading, and so they start on a certain kind of book, and you can never back up to a taste for, kidnapped, or they're not going to sit down and open up the books that are so rewarding but are more challenging.